continuing with the JavaScript. Fine. Now, in the last class, we have seen the basics of JavaScript, what it is, and then we have just used a simple document.write line. Sorry, not write line, document.write, and then we had just displayed some output at various places using the scripting tag. Now we will move further. So let me open the same register file where we had the JavaScript code. Now let me remove this JavaScript from other places where I have written for the demonstration purpose. So I only have one script tag here, and we will be using this script tag. Within the script tag, we will be writing the JavaScript, what do we call, various statements that can be used in JavaScript. Now let us look at how to handle the data. Now, this script tag had nothing to do with taking, the code within the script tag. Obviously, everything will be written in JavaScript, for JavaScript within the scripting tag. But we had, we have not seen any as such, what do we call, what do we say? We have not seen as such any input from the user and then displaying the computing some part and displaying it to the back to the user. We have just seen how to write some code which is executed by JavaScript and then display. Now we will move further. Actually, we will first look at some of the basics of the JavaScript, like the programming part of the JavaScript. And then we will proceed with how do we, finally we will proceed with how to interact with the user. Now, in JavaScript, since it is used for the computational purpose, it has all the programming capabilities. So, obviously, we have the data and that data needs to be stored. Now, when a user is typing the data, and for example, if we execute this register, user might be typing some data in the text fields. And here, this data is right now present only in HTML, which is visible to the user. But when we move further, when we have to do some validation or some computational part, then the data has to be present in the, or the data has to be retrieved in the script tag by the JavaScript. When data is retrieved, it has to be stored somewhere. So since it's a computation, JavaScript has the computational power. So JavaScript also will have variables. Now remember, HTML, we have not seen any variables. We just have used tags and have presented our content. JavaScript will use variables or has variables. And using those variables, the variables nothing but is a place to store some content of the data. And using those variables, we will be able to perform other functions. And here in JavaScript, obviously, variables are case sensitive for JavaScript. For example, if I declare a variable as, let's say, let's have the variable, okay, let's say ROLLNO, roll number. Now this roll number is different from roll number because R is capital. So this will be, it's case sensitive language. So basically, small upper cases and lower cases are treated differently. Now, the other thing of the JavaScript is that the variables which we try to declare, or the identifiers, what we call, they must begin with a letter. It cannot begin with a number. It can begin with a letter. It can also have. So here we are. Let me first write down something. Let's say variable. Variables. Let's say variables. So variables can be written in Java. I mean, can be defined in JavaScript using the characters and numbers, but numbers first character cannot be a number. It has to be a character, or I mean character in the sense a letter, or it can also start with a dollar sign. It can also start with a dollar sign, or it can also start with an underscore. So the first character, character of the variable can be uh, a character, a letter, or it can be underscore, or it can be a dollar sign. Now, after that, subsequently, you can have numbers. For example, I can have roll number 1, or marks 1, marks 2, or subject 1, subject 2. That I can have, but it cannot start with uh, um, um, a number. Then, obviously, it's case sensitive. Variables, some predefined keywords are there, or predefined what we call reserved words are there, which cannot be used as variables. Now, before we move further with the variables, is I have written something known as a / over here. I mean, this in JavaScript, as in your other programming languages like Java, this is used for comments. So a comment will be ignored by the compiler. So for a single line comment, even in JavaScript, we use //. If we have a multi-line comment, then we'll be using /*. That is the opening comment for multi-line comments. Then we will go closing. So we can say this is multi-line comment. This is multi-line comment. So JavaScript also supports multi-line comments. Now let us come back to the variables. In JavaScript, we do not have to declare the variable with its type. Remember that this is very important. Like in Java, if roll number is there, obviously we know roll number will be storing integer, so we will declare it to be of int type. Then suppose if we have name or s name, let's say student's name. Student name is a string, so we declare in Java as string student name. So in Java, any variable you will define, we have to declare it, or we have to define its type also, like int, float, or string, character, such a way. But in JavaScript, in Java, we have to define it that way. We have to define the type also. But in JavaScript, we need not. We don't define the what we say. We don't define the type of the variable. There is a reserved word known as var. There is a reserved word known as var, through which we can define a variable. So we will be using var and roll number. Even for name, we will be using var and s name. So these will be the two variables defined. So var is for variable actually. Var is a keyword there in JavaScript. Var is a variable. So var does not have does not say what type of. It only says it's a variable which is defined. That's all. That is the purpose. Then, how will the JavaScript know that what is the type or what is the data that needs to be stored in this variable, that is roll number, or what is the data or what is the type of the data that needs to be stored in this s name? So in such cases, what actually happens is we have to use an assignment operator. Now I will be using roll number equal to, and if I give, let's say 101 as the roll number, then for S name, let me give the name within double quotes as ABC. So what now what happens is roll number will be defined of the type integer. It's a variable of type integer. Why it is integer? Because when the assignment is done, the type of the variable, that is in this case roll number, will be decided at runtime depending upon what value is assigned. So in this case, the value is 101, which is of the type integer. It is assigned to roll number. So now the variable roll number will be holding the the integer value. The same way, if it's I mean some characters within string, which is assigned to S name, that means S name will be is now S name variable is of the type string. So remember, JavaScript is dynamically typed. The variables, when they are defined, the type is not defined. It's not defined according to their type. Only when the value is assigned at runtime, only then the type of the variable is decided. So variables JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. This is very important. JavaScript is dynamically typed language. What it means is at runtime or dynamically at runtime, the type of the variable is decided. Now suppose we have declared roll number equal to 101. So roll number is a variable which is storing 101, and now the variable will be having type as integer. Suppose in the program, while in the program, I try to what do you call change the type of the variable. So let's say let us say roll number, and I'll store some. Though it doesn't make sense, but I'll do one thing. I'll store 10.25 as the value. Now let us look at what happens. So what we will do is we will have the document dot type, and then we will pass roll number. Now what we will do is, and obviously every I mean we have to use a semicolon to end the statement. So I'll just give it space and semicolon so that it will be easy for us to read this. Then we will do one thing. We will display the roll number before changing the before assigning a different value, and then roll number here. We are displaying the roll number before changing assigning a different value, that's 10.25, and after. And let us just execute. I mean, not execute. Let's just run this program in a web browser and let us look at it. Now, what do you think will be the result? Will, I mean, we are not bothered about right now. We are not right now bothered about, I mean, whether it is 101 or 10.25. Does the result just get displayed on the, it's an HTML question, or it's an HTML, what do we say, part, that will the roll numbers which are displayed in two different statements, using two different statements, will they display? We are not bothered about whether it's 101 or 10.25. Whether the roll numbers which are displayed, will they be displayed on a single line or line after line, one after the other in the HTML, on the web page? What will be the output? What will be the output? Okay, there is one more function. Right is there, right ln is also there for right line, ln. right? It's just like print and println in Java. So if you use write, it will write, display the result on that line, and then uh, the subsequent printing of the characters, displaying of the characters starts from the same, uh, some of the same character position. Whereas println or your writeln method, it's supposed to be appending the new line character at the end of the string. So what will be the result over here? Let me first use write over here, write document.write. We have seen this document.write in the last class. Let me save this, and then let me execute over here, refresh it. Can you find this, all this displayed on one single string? All is displayed on a single string. Is it not? Everything is displayed on a, displayed as a single string. Now let us look at what happens if I use write ln. Write ln. Let me save this, refresh it. Even if I do, it's just separating that with a space over here, but displaying it on the same line. Why do you think so? Why do you think so? This is happening. Now let us remove this write ln. Let me save this and we will refresh it. I have this as the result. I will just let us look at the page source. Now this is the okay. You can't find that way. Okay, it doesn't matter. So what actually is happening? Here we have write document.write, and it's displaying on the same line, just text one after the other, or just one beside the other. And if we have write ln, should have written on the different line. No. Let's save this, refresh it. Let us look at the page source. See, here we are having write ln. Here we are having write ln. It's not displaying on the different line. The next thing is displayed on the same line. Why do you think this is happening? Hey, Baba, anyone reply? Why do you think it's happening? Are you people there? What is happening? Just anybody reply? Even if the answer is wrong, doesn't matter. Okay, fine. No idea. Okay, no problem. That's it. Fine. At least I know that there is a response from someone. That's fine. The thing is, this document.write ln, or whether we use document.write, these method, these functions, they display the content, whatever is there in this, whatever is, passed as an argument to this function. They are not bothered about how it gets displayed. The displaying of the output on the web browser depends upon how browser handles the data. And we all know that browsers will ignore extra white spaces, as well as they will ignore the new line characters. So that is why if we have, even if we have ln, write ln over here, or even if we have write ln over here, though the function, after writing the value which is there in the roll number, this variable, it appends a new line character. But on the web browser, it doesn't get displayed on a different line. This is because the new line character is ignored by the web browser. That is what we had learned in the, or we had seen in the HTML, that a new line characters or even extra white spaces are ignored by the web browser. So then what should we do to have the display on different lines for different write-ln function? Browser only understands HTML content. So we can use let's the BR tag, which is there for break. So I will append, which with the plus is the concatenation character. I will append BR. So I am passing the BR tag as a string concatenated with the roll number variable. So BR tag. So now what will happen is the roll number, the value right now is 101. 101 plus, this is a concatenation. So on the browser, it will be 101 BR tag. Then the value is changed 10.25 BR tag. Let us look at this. So when we are having BR tag, that means BR is understood by the web browser. So when BR is understood by the web browser, it gives a break, line break. So when it is giving the line break, obviously we are having the output on different results. So is this clear? So remember that even if you use write or write-ln, it will not display on the next line on the web browser. We have to explicitly have the HTML tags so that the result will be, explicit HTML tags in the sense, it's not any HTML tag that you can use. Depends upon how your output should be. Those HTML tags can be used within the write function or passed as a parameter to the write function or write method, whatever. The both are same, method or function is same. Only difference between, is the terminology there. So let us come back to the variables part. So this is how, always remember that when you do have some print, something using the write document.write or write-ln, don't assume by default that it's going to, if you use write-ln, it is going to print on a different line. It doesn't, because new line characters are ignored by the web browser. You have to explicitly use a BR tag for providing a new line. The other thing is, it's not only the BR tag that you can pass here. Since write method is going to just throw the output. It's just going to throw the output on the web browser. So whatever text you have here, whatever you have, if you have any HTML document, that will be just thrown on the web browser, and web browser will understand that output and display the result. And let's come back to the what is our variables part. And here, this roll number is assigned the value 101. So when we are using display, when you are using the write method and displaying the roll number, you are getting 101. That means right now it's of the type integer. Then we have changed this to 10.25, and when we displayed it, now it's going to display 10.25. So dynamically typed means at runtime the type is decided. So at this stage, since the value is 101, the variable is holding an integer type data. When this is 10.25, it's holding floating point data. So at this stage, when this gets assigned, or even at this stage itself, the type of the variable has changed. So that is what we say, it's a dynamically typed language. Depending upon the assignment of the value which is assigned to the variable, the type of the variable is defined. Now let me, it's, I mean, obvious, you might be, I mean, wondering that this is integer, this is floating point, they both may be compatible. Okay, now let us assign x, y, z. So earlier here, it was an integer data type. Now here it's completely different. These two are not compatible types. Though we can typecast it and then convert the integer into a string or string into an integer. But as such, there is no compatibility between the integer and strings. You have to explicitly convert them. Anyway, now when we are assigning this, let us save and look at what happens. You are getting x, y, z at the result. So, I mean, you might be thinking, obviously, whatever we assign, that value get displayed. That is true. That is correct. But the purpose of showing this part is that at this place, the same variable, that is roll number, is of the type integer. But when a different type's value is assigned, the same variable roll number is now of the type string. So that is the purpose of showing it's a dynamically typed language. It's a dynamically typed language. Yeah. What we say is the JavaScript is a dynamically typed language. Now, so this is very important. Remember that it depends upon the assignment, what variables, what type of variables are assigned. Now, so before moving further, one thing we need to consider that, remember that I'm just writing in comments, variables are not typed. In comment itself, JavaScript is dynamically typed. It is dynamically typed. Now, last thing, we are saying variables are not typed. Then what is typed? Is the values. Values are actually typed. Values are typed. Means values has got certain type. Then what are the different types? Like integers, floating point numbers, such and such things are there in any programming language. In JavaScript, what are the types? What are the types? So here, I mean, with the string, right? I mean, let us use multi-lines. That I mean, all the purpose also. We have something known as primitive types. Primitive types. Now, primitive types. First type, we don't call it as integer or floating point. We call it as number. Number is a type. Number itself, number is a type. We don't say integer or floating point. We say number. Number will take care of integers as well as floating points. So number is a type in JavaScript. Then string. There's no such thing called as a character. String is a type in JavaScript. Obviously, for using characters, we need to, I mean, string with only one element is considered. String with only one character is considered as a character. So string is a type. There is no character type explicitly as such defined. Then the other thing is Boolean. Boolean is a type. Again, a type. Boolean is also a type. So numbers 0 to 9 with the decimal values are handled using numbers type. String, anything which is in double quotes is a string. Anything which is in double quotes. Even if I have 10, a number 10 in double quotes is treated as a even if 10 is there within double quotes, so if 10 is a number, but since it is there in the double quotes, it is treated as a string. In Boolean, we have type as Boolean. This is handles true and false. It's not 0 and 1, it handles true and false. Then we have something known as undefined. There is a type. Undefined itself is a type. Undefined. undefined itself is a type. Now, where is undefined used? Now, suppose if I am defining a roll number here, let's say, okay, the roll number I have defined, I have assigned the value. So roll number is of the type number because this is an integer. S name, suppose I'm not defining anything. I just declared S name. And I'm declaring S name, I'm not defining anything. That means the type of this variable is undefined. That means this, so undefined, it's a primitive type because variable have to have a type. Though it is the type is what we say is dynamically decided, but if a variable is defined and doesn't have any not assigned any value, then it's a undefined. So later, when in the sense, so for example, later in the next statement, I'm saying S name equal to ABC within quotes. Now this, now I am defining. So at this place it is undefined. The type is undefined. Now the type will be string. So that is the reason we have the a type, primitive type, as undefined itself. Then the last type is null. Null. That means a variable is defined but doesn't contain any value. So that is the null part. That is also a primitive type. Now we will. So these are the different. I'm writing this in comments because when we execute something, it will not be displayed, or we don't have any errors on the output. That's why I'm just writing it in a comment. So this part is the defining a variable and assigning a value to that variable. Let us now look at some of the operators, because it's a programming language. It gives us some of the what we can call it as some capability. So operators on all the operators, that is plus, minus, divide, modulus, all these operators, whatever is there in Java, the same operators work for or what do you call in JavaScript. So let me say it's same as in Java. Even the precedence rule is same. I mean, if obviously plus has less precedence than multiplication. So in Java, the same precedence rules applies also applies over here. Now there are certain defined objects in Java, in JavaScript. In Java, what do? Is we try to define our own class. Then we will define. Then we use the. Create an object of that class and then use that class. Now here in JavaScript, we will not be defining our own classes, but there are certain classes already defined, and we don't call them as classes because we cannot create an object of that class. So what we say is JavaScript already provides certain objects through which we will be able to perform certain operations or actions. Now, for example, we had used this write method over here. This write method obviously is a method which is there in document object. So document is object. Again, we have not defined anywhere in our program over here, document object. This document object is defined by JavaScript itself, which browsers understands. And the same way, there are certain other objects also, which which are defined objects, and whose methods we will directly be able to use those methods. Now let us quickly go through. There is a math object. So what I'll do is over here, let me say object. I'll just comment these right ln lines over here. This one, right? This one I'm just commenting, so that doesn't get displayed, and we will look at. So we will look at the math object. This is like your document.out.println. This object is a predefined object. Now let us use some of the methods of this object. What I will do is the first thing is a simple, let's say, var. We will define a variable as I. Let us have 10.25 as the value. And if I want to round this number, I can use math dot, and there is a round is the method available in math object. Round. Math object, there is a method. So dot we are using dot round. And let us pass I, semicolon. Now this gives us the output. It returns us the output. That is rounding of 10.25. That is the value. What we will do, we will use document dot write. So within this document dot write, we will display this value. So I'm just this is the actual method I want to demonstrate, and the result of that method we are using document dot write as the method for displaying. Let us execute this program. Refresh. Now, can you find the result here? 10.25 is being rounded. Rounded to what? Not 10.3. It's rounded to 10 itself. Now, suppose if I give 8, 10.85. Let me save this, refresh. You can see 11. So the round method of the math object rounds just to the next integer. Not, it doesn't look at the third decimal or the second decimal and then rounds it based on that. By default, it just rounds it to the integer. Now, the same way we have other functions, just quickly look at these functions. One is the floor. So if it is 10.85, there is two things, floor and seal. So we will use seal also in the same output. Seal method it's just like seal is for sealing, very easy to remember. Seal is sealing, and floor is nothing but flooring. So floor, I mean, if 10.25, 10.85 is there at the in the middle, and its floor value will be the low integer, and seal value will be the high integer. So we will also have the break over here so that it displays on the different line. The result gets displayed on the different line. So let us execute this program. Oh, nothing is getting displayed. I may be having some problem. Okay. No problem. I'll just explain this later. Let me have var j, and let me have this over here. Over here, semicolon. Oh, okay. Let us not do that. I have forgotten to close the string over here. So that is why I had an error, but error is not shown, but nothing is displayed. So that is how we find the error. So okay, I forgot to close here, and this I'm running it once more. So now you can find that 10.85 is the lowest integer. That is nothing but your 10. That is the lowest integer. And for 10.85, seal is the highest integer, sealing the high integer, the next highest integer. So 10.25 next highest integer is 11. So that is how we have seen the three functions. We also have a method as sqrt, which compute the square root. Sqrt compute the square root. Let us say square root of 9. I'm directly passing there and refresh it. You can find 3 is the result there. So the same way we can have log. We also have power, POW power. That is, let me say 2, 3. That is, it's nothing but 2 power 3. let's say is 8 is the result. So this math function has various this math object, sorry, not function, object has various okay, where is that? Various objects. Sorry, math object has various methods, like we have seen round. Round is the method we have seen, and then one more method is there, that is floor. We have seen. Then this method we have seal as the method. Then we have sqrt as the method. Then we also have power. We have seen power, POW for power. Power is the method, but this power method takes two arguments. So I'm passing this to two arguments. So you all know what that is, 2 power 3. Then we can also have exponential, so exp, that is e power something, let's say 2 or 3. So exponential 3. Then we also have log, let's say log 3. So that means log to the base, I mean 10 to base 3. So these are all the math objects. Now you might be wondering, what is this purpose of this math object to show or use in JavaScript, and uh, why actually we are not writing any computational part. We just might be used for validation purpose, JavaScript, so and so. So just to check whether this is, usually what happens is when we come to JavaScript, every textbook starts with the statement that JavaScript is beneficial. Advantage of JavaScript is that we can validate the content, so and so things. So do we need for validation? Why? We don't need math. We just need equal to operator for validation, or dot. Equals, as you see in different other languages. Then what is the purpose of this maths object? Why do we have it, and why have we seen the math object over here? I mean, uh, anyone? Have any idea? The people used to reply. I don't know why people are not replying now. We used to have much better interactive class in earlier sessions. It's just anybody say something. Then obviously to perform mathematical operation, that is fine. But in today's, I want to relate your subject with the latest development or the things which are going on right now. So obviously it's there to perform mathematical operations, but why do we need mathematical operations? On a web page, why do we need a mathematical operations? What is the purpose? You can have a calculator to perform mathematical operations. But why on a web page? That is correct. The answer is correct. That is to perform, we need this math object to perform mathematical operations. The answer is correct. I'm not saying the answer is wrong. The purpose is fine. It is correct that it has to perform mathematical operations. But for performing mathematical operations, we can use calculator also. Why to write a mathematical function or something in JavaScript and give the see the result? What is the real purpose? You may hear something about security, or you may see that some websites, especially the banking websites or wherever we perform transactions, they say that this is a secured website, your data is secured, and so and so. How do you think that happens? Data is secured. We have seen last few of the last classes of HTML. we have seen, yes, we have captcha at websites. Yes, we have to evaluate some things. Captcha is one thing. The same way for security purposes. What happens is, I mean, have you had this is which semester? First semester. No? First in the sense, even third semester. Are you having computer networks this semester? I don't know whether, I mean, you might not have, I mean, maybe, no, you're not having computer networks. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. But everybody must have heard about the term as uh, cryptography or cyber security, cryptography and such things. Now, the websites which I mean, says that this data is secured, the transmitting of the data is secured using 132-bit key and something something they try to say. Now, what we have seen in our earlier last HTML classes as I told you about the get and post method. In get method, the data is sent through the URL and it's visible. On the URL itself, it will be visible. But in post method, it is sent as the header in the along with the packet, along with the data header. So user will not be able to see. But what happens in both the cases, the data is in a plain text. It is in a plain text. So whatever I'm typing as a password, it is sent as a plain text. Now, to provide security, what we have is certain cryptographic algorithm, encryption and decryption algorithms are there. Your data is encrypted here, and then the what we say at the other end, on the server end, it gets decrypted. So that is how we achieve the security for the data that is transmitted or communicated between a client, which is where the data is handled all in the browser, and at the other end, on a at the other end, the data I mean is handled on a server. So to provide this cryptography and all, encryption or decryption part, encryption, decryption, I think that the whole cryptography is based upon mathematics. That is, do this transformation, perform that computation, and RSA algorithm, that AES, DES, all these cryptographic algorithms. I mean, uses. I mean, you might have heard about RSA, which uses prime numbers and so on. So all this cryptographic thing is based upon mathematical operations. That is what someone has answered, that we use math to perform mathematical operations. That is fine, absolutely correct. But mathematical operations, I mean, the most, I mean, thing over here is that we can use this math object to provide security for the data. That is, we can encrypt the data and send the encrypted data. And to perform this encryption and all, there are certain standard algorithms which uses the mathematical operations. And to facilitate or make these mathematical operations easy, that is, I mean, we use this, the math object. We have the flexibility to use the math object. Then one more important thing, sorry. This also this cryptographic things and all is also used in nowadays in blockchains. You might have been hearing this term as blockchain. Obviously, we are not going to look into the blockchain part, but as an example, I'm telling you the things are these, whatever you will be learning in this web programming, are also used for blockchains. Then one more important thing is in math object is the random. It's the method random. It generates, and this is very important because sometimes we need to have some random numbers. As somebody has answered that for captchas, it's mathematics operations are used for captchas. Obviously, we can use this random method from math object to generate random captures or random digits for captures. So that is also was one of the answer, which is correct. So this random method will every time when it is executed, it gives us a random value. Now let us look at what that random value. So we will use math, M is capital for math dot random. And this doesn't take any arguments. I'm having a new line correct, doesn't matter. Let's save this. Let me have one more new line. VR tab. Sorry, not new line. It's a break tab. Sorry. New line is when it is get displayed. Okay. You can find there is 0.15, some random value. I refresh it again. Another random value. I refresh it again. Another random value. Again, another random value. What do you observe? What do you observe here? When I'm refreshing again, a random value is generating. But what is the random value? Or what? Can't say what type. Type is obviously a number. But what do you observe here in random values? The random values which are getting generated. This random function and random functions for every programming languages have different characteristics. Remember that. This random method or function of the math object generates random numbers between 0 to 1. Between that range it generates. So every time you see it's 0 point some number. It will never be 10 point something or 100 point something or 8 point something. It's always 0. So it generates random numbers between 0 to 1. Now, obviously, we have to use a different logic over here so that to generate random numbers between 100 to so and so. So, can we do it? I want to generate random numbers, integer random numbers. Then how can I do that? Is there any way to do integer random numbers? If I use round over here, if I use, let me make this, let's say, variable r for random number, and this math dot random, I will use it over here. So every time a random number is generated, it's stored in variable r. And this variable r, what I will do is, can I use round? R-O-U-N-D, round math function which we have seen, round of r. If I use round, what will happen? Let us look at here. Every time it will be 0 or 1 round. Because if the value goes, below 0.5, it will be 0. If value is 0.5 over, it will be 1. So it always be zeros and ones, random number. So that is, that to generate a random number, two random numbers randomly. The range is 0 or 1. It's just like a coin, flipping a coin, heads or tails. You can just use round of r, where r is nothing but is a variable which is storing random the number randomly generated. So this is fine for flipping a coin, just like a toss, 0 or 1. But what about the other one? Can I use floor or seal? If I use floor, I will always get 0. If I use seal, I will always get 1. I want to generate an integer, some integer numbers. So how do I do? Can I multiply this random number, that is math.random? Can I multiply this with 100? Yes, I can do that. Let's save it, refresh it. Can you find what is happening? If I have multiplied by 100, I will always be getting random numbers between 0 to 100. Obviously not including 100. So this is the way, though random will give us only this random gives us generates and numbers between, sorry, what is this? Numbers between 0 and, oh, sorry, this is not 0. 0 and 1. And it generates between 0 and 1. And then we can use our logic. And then generate any set of random numbers. Now suppose, okay, let us take one thing. You have seen, here we are using round. Here we have multiplied that with 100. And we are using round. So what is happening is we are getting numbers generated, random numbers generated between 0 to 100. Obviously not including 100. 0 to 99, let's say. So now suppose if I want to simulate a dice. Dice has 6, from 1 to 6. Let us make it easy. So from 0 to 6 itself, I want to generate. Only those between that range, 0 to 6 range, I want to generate random numbers. Then how do I do? Let us use this logic. Here you all know we have R, which uses random number. So between 0 to 1, that random number is generated. And this random number is multiplied by 100. Now, so between 0 to 99, some value gets generated. I want the random numbers always between 0 to 6. So what I will do is we will use a logic R, the value of R, which is any random number between 0 to 100 or 0 to 99. This R I will do modulus 6. And then whatever this value of this R we get, we will store back it in we will store this value back in R. And then we will obviously use round to display R. Let us save this and we will refresh it. Can you find there will always a number will be generated between 0 to 6. Never, 0 to 5. Never 0 to 5. Never more than 5. That is because we have used the logic as percentage 6. That means percentage is a modulus operator, and whatever number R, random number R has, modulus 6 means it will give the remainder of whatever you are dividing by R, when we are dividing R by 6. And obviously that remainder will be between 0 to 5. It will never be more than 5 because we have modulus 6. So what I wanted to show you here is that random number generates digits only from between 0 to 1. That is what is the definition of this random method. That is, it generates, always generate between 0 to 1. Now excuse me, we can use a different logic. We can, have different expressions like what we had it over here. And then we can generate random numbers according to our need. So this is how, this is the importance, or this is what all we have in the math object. Now, in the same way, let's move further. We also have, now I'm showing all these objects before going to the other things of JavaScript. That is, we also have, like all the operators are same same as Java, I said. In the same way, if conditions, if else, what do you call the other conditional statements, that is for loop or our while loop, all these loops are all same as Java. So, I mean, obviously we'll look at a few examples of those things, but before that, these are the important things, that is the objects which are there in JavaScript. Then there are certain other constants also which is defined in the math class. Let us move further now. There is uh, where is it? Now, in the same way, we have another predefined object, which is a date object, uh, which is a date object. So, in the same, what do we find? I remember all these things. What we are writing is we are writing within the script tag, not in the as the HTML part. Writing it inside the script tag, so it will be a JavaScript. Now, the same way, like we have seen the math object, we will also have a date object. Date object. Now, everybody must have seen this date object on most of the websites, uh, especially on news websites. Let us let me open a tab over here. Let's say nbtv.com. No, it doesn't have a date over here, does it? I'm not able to find date. Let's not use this. Let's say Times of India. What is this? Go to Times of India. Oh, okay. Ah, guys, yeah, this is. Are you able to see the thing which I'm highlighting? I think it's may be visible to you. On the top, you have this part where my mouse is. You have a date displayed that is 28, and time is also displayed. Now let us look at other websites which has a different. I mean, why are these people not having dates? Okay, I can. Now, obviously, you may be knowing what where the dates are there and how uh, dates get displayed. But there is an important thing I want to show you. That is why I'm going to different sites. What is happening here? Why this is not working? Now, this also has got the same thing. Okay, anyway, it doesn't work. Okay, can you find this date on this Deccan Chronicle website? You can find it here that Wednesday, October 21st, 2020, last update, so and so. Here also, Wednesday, it's very dull, but it has Wednesday 21st, October 21st, 2020, updated so and so time. Now, this date, do you think that a person will be sitting every day and changing this date? Do you think that? Or do you think that a person will be, every day a new page is refreshed, a new HTML is written with this date? That is, I can use this Wednesday 21st. I mean, if it's not visible, just let me expand it. This Wednesday, this date on Deccan Chronicle web. अरे क्या भेजिए अब जाता ही नहीं. This one. Do you think that some web developer is sitting every day on a web page and trying to update the date and upload it? That is, change it to Thursday to next, Wednesday to next Thursday, October 22nd and 2020. And every day they try to upload it? Is it so? Does this happen? Just give me an answer. No, it doesn't happen. Then what do you think? How? How should it be done? HTML doesn't have its own this thing capability. So how is it done? These are some dynamic things. These are some dynamic uh, things that are done or that can be done using JavaScript. So it's highly not possible for a person to every day change the date and then upload a new web page, because there may be thousands of web pages on news site, and every day trying to change open every web page and physically change this date and upload it. That's not possible. Since JavaScript provides a dynamic nature, or gives the dynamic nature, has the capability of providing a dynamic nature to the website. So we can use JavaScript to perform this dynamic task. That is dynamic in the sense the updation of the content, dynamic updation of the content. Now, how do we do that? We have a date object. We have a date object in JavaScript. Now, this date object, we need to create a variable and initialize it with date object. Now, directly math, we have directly used it, math.random or math.round and so things we have directly used. But for the date object, since it has to retrieve the current date from the browser, actually it's the system date that it has to retrieve. So that is why we have to use new date and call the date class itself, object itself. Now you may be familiar with this syntax, that is opening and closing of the parenthesis with the name of the class. Now here we don't call it as a class, but we say object. So date object we are using, opening, closing. Now this is a constructor. So we are actually creating a memory or allocating memory for a date object. Let us look at how this happens. So I will use document dot write. Every time I'm using write because that is how we display the output on the browser. Document dot write. But before that, let us declare a variable var. Let me say today. Today equal to, I'll say new date. New date. Semicolon. And within this, I'll write today. I'll display today. And obviously, let us have a parent output on a different line. I'll use two break tags so that the content display is very clear. Let us save this and I'll refresh. So can you find here? Wednesday, October 22nd, 2020, 12:30, 19. Even the second is displayed, and it's a GMT time, GMT plus, Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes. So are you able to get my point? So using this JavaScript date object of the JavaScript, we will be able to dynamically retrieve the date and display it. So if I refresh it, you can find there is a difference. The seconds change over here. The minute has changed now. So dynamically it retrieves. Now there will be a question here. We may have a doubt that which date is it? Is it a date of my computer, my system, or is it a date which is, is it a server date? Is it a date of the user's client system, or is it a date of the server? What do you think? Now, why I'm distinguishing between these two, client's date and server's date, because web pages are not here in your local system. Web pages will be on servers, web servers, will be stored in web servers. Here we are just trying to write some code and refresh it. This is just for your demonstration purpose. and refresh in the web browser. But actually, this web page should be will be coming from a web server. So, and that web server may not be in India or in Hyderabad, where we are sitting. It may be somewhere geographically, it may be somewhere else, some place, I mean, in some country. So, which date this statement is when we are using these two statements, which date is getting displayed? Is it the which way date will get displayed? Is it the client's system's date or is it the web server's date? Which one? Which date will be displayed? Hooray, anybody answer? Web servers. Anyone else? Anybody else? Why do you think web servers date will be displayed? Okay, let me take one more example. Nowadays, they are not using. That is why I don't have. I remember the website. Uh, uh, okay, I mean they're not using that, but I don't have right now. But you may have seen, or anyway, let us take the example. Sometimes what happens is when you log into certain email services like I mean Gmail is there or not, but Gmail doesn't use that way. But earlier, this Yahoo, when we log on to this Yahoo website, it used to Yahoo Mail. It used to greet saying that I mean good morning so and so, good afternoon and good evening. That way it used to have the greetings there. Uh, but that morning may be different in London. It may be different in US. It may be different in Australia. So how do they used to greet based on morning and how do they know? I mean, in India it may be uh, afternoon, but in UK it's morning. In Australia it is evening. So how do you think? I mean, if it is there on the web servers, if the data which we are retrieving as web servers, then it's not possible. I may be in India, somebody else will be using the same website, which may be uh, getting access from Australia itself, and servers may be somewhere in Japan. So how do they figure it out that this is the thing? Or what is the date when the date which is so on this web servers, or the date which is on the date which is on the client side? Remember one thing, most important in JavaScript, and most sometimes, I mean, even in interviews and all, though for freshers they don't ask, but usually in web-based development things, these interviews they try to ask for web programming. Even in Viva question used to be there, but you don't have lab for this subject. So, but anyway, you should know that because in online interviews and all, they usually try to trick this way. Uh, I mean, using such type of questions. Always remember that JavaScript, what we are seeing here and what we are writing it, The JavaScript, always remember, it's client side. JavaScript always works on client side. Where does JavaScript get executed? It gets executed on the web browser of the user. What does this mean? On the web browser of the user? That means wherever a user might be, in whatever geographical location, it will not be the the JavaScript will be executed on the user's web browser. So it is a client-side scripting language. So when we are using this data object, it is getting executed on the browser, inside the browser of the user. Now, browser of the user's browser is where? It's a client side. That is why it's getting executed on client side, on the user's browser. So when it is getting on user's browser, it gives us the date of the client. That is, on the machine a client is sitting on, or the machine which the client is using. So always remember, JavaScript is client-side scripting language. It runs on clients. And since it runs on client side, the date also is on the client side. So I hope this is clear with respect to where the data object, how the data object is used, and where we need to look at this. Now the next thing. Now this is the default date. Wednesday, October. WED is Wednesday, and October OCT 21st something to 20. This is the default. Directly it's coming. Now I can individually retrieve the month, the day itself, I mean day in the sense Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The date, that is today is 21st, we can retrieve, as well as we can retrieve the year also, that is 2010 or what 20 or whatever it is. Even hours, minutes, and seconds also we can retrieve. Individually we can retrieve all these things. Let us quickly look at how to retrieve all these things. I'll do one thing. I'll just type putting up just copying and pasting everything. Now I'll just have some strings, and we're going to use the same date object. New date we have created now, and this one we have used to display the date in the default format. Now we will individually retrieve each and every part of the date object, or the data which is present in the data object. So we will be using the same today, that is the object of the date class, and this object I just have some string, and I'm using plus. You all know plus is used for concatenating the strings. So here let us first retrieve the date. So what is today's date? So I'm just using that, and then we will retrieve what is the month. What is the month? And then we will retrieve year. Then the day, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So let's say day of the week, whatever. Let's say day of the week. Then let us retrieve hours, minutes, and then seconds. Let us retrieve seconds also. We can also retrieve milliseconds. So let us have milliseconds. We can also retrieve milliseconds. Now, how do we do this? All this. We will be using the same today class. Today object, that is which is initialized to date, and this date the object has different methods to individually retrieve. Directly, if we use the object, by default, the date in default format will be displayed. But we can use different methods which are there in this data object. For example, get the date. That is today is 21st. We can use today dot get. Today is see. We can use any name in today. It's not today itself. I can use A, B, C also. So that is all depends upon your choice of what variable you use. Get date, D-A-T-E, date, and it's a method. So it opens and closes brackets. Then month means get month. M is capital for get months. Then this is year. For year we have get full year, and F is capital. Sorry, full year. Full year. Oh, sorry, this is a method. So I'll just open up and close the bracket. Day of the week. So it will be today dot get day. Day. It's a method. It's open and closing. Then get hours. Get hours. Then we have get minutes dot get minutes. It's a method. And today dot seconds is get seconds. Method. And for milliseconds, we will have get milliseconds. Today dot get millisecond. Get milliseconds. Let us save this one. I'm just going to refresh it. Here you can find. Okay, I'll just format it. Milliseconds. I think I have not given colon slash space. Okay, no problems. Let's save. Refresh it once. Now you can find this is the default. The value which is displayed. Date. Today is 21st. So 21st get displayed. Month. It's actually October. So it should have been 10. But 9 is displayed. Now remember, months, this date will be not between 0 to something. Date will be from 1 to 31st, depending upon whatever date. But month will be is returned between 0 to 11. Always remember, month is returned between 0 to 11. It's not 1 to 12 month. The value which is returned for month, when we say get month, it will be from 0 to 11, not 12, 0 to 11. So here we need to add +1. So obviously it's October, but it's returning 9. So I have added +1. So always remember it will be, this is a different issue. If I add +1, it's becoming concatenating as a character. So 91 it's become. Okay, anyway, we will take that concatenation part or conversion from string to integers or integers to string. I mean, that is a different topic itself. We will cover up later. So I'm not going to add one over here. You can do it later. So, but we can do it when we see the concatenation, or you can use another variable and there you can do it. So anyway, get month will return value from 0 to 11. So we have to add 1. Then year. Now this full year today, full year, get full year, that is 2020. There is no method known as get year because it's always a year in 4 digits. This was because, I mean, no way you will be returned year as now I'm telling you, nowadays nowhere it will be, you will be returned year as 20 or year as, I mean, next year will be 2021. So it will not be returned 21, always 4 digits. So get full year. Now this was done after that is Y2K problem. I mean, you may have been in school that time, but this was done for the reason, because of the reason of Y2K problem, where only a single digit was used to display year. which had created a problem when it used to be 00, because after when 00 comes as a year after 99, all the other calculations was going into negative values. So that is the reason. The nowadays, no, not nowadays. It's been there since 20 years, more than 20 years. A full year has been used. Then obviously, this day of the week, 3, day of the week. Day of the week also starts, from 0. So there are 7 days, so it will not be the day of the week. We don't get it as Monday, Tuesday. We get the day of the week as an integer. That is it. That is it has returned 3. Now here, day of the week also is not between 1 to 7. It's between 0 to 6. Day of the week will be 0 to 6. And if it starts from Sunday is 0, Monday will be 1, Tuesday will be 2, and Wednesday will be 3. So week starts from Sunday. Week starts from Sunday. So it's 0. And it's between 0 to 1. No, sorry. It's between 0 to 6, not 1 to 7. And always it will return an integer. It will not return string as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday. So, and obviously, if we have to display it as a Wednesday, full Wednesday, Thursday, full string, then we need to use a switch statement where we need to pass 0, 1, 2, 3. And then if it is 0, it will be Sunday. If it is 1, case 1, it will be Monday, case 2, Tuesday. That way we need to do it. But do remember that day of the week, that is get day, will always return values between 0 to 6, that is day of the week. Then hours is there. Hours also returns a value. Now here you can see the hours as 12 itself. You don't have to add 1 to hours because, though the hours are between 0 to 23, not 21 to 24. It's between 0 to 23, and 0 hour is 12, midnight. And so and so. Even for minutes, that is, this is minutes, 45 is the minute. Even for the minutes, it is between 0 to 59. 60 again is 0, a new minute starts. Even the seconds, it is same, 0 to 59, the seconds we are having here. And milliseconds is between 0 to 999 milliseconds, not 1000, 0 to 999. That's the milliseconds. So why I have showed the different methods of this, because you can customize your date. Instead of displaying a default date, we can customize our date by retrieving individual entities of the date object, that is month, day, so and so, year, and all, and we can customize to suit our the design of our web page. So this is how date object can be used. So there are several other things which are there. That is, we have seen now we have seen this the month and date method. Objects. Same way we will proceed further. Then we will look at the type conversions. That is different type. For example, when we have string, how to convert that string into an integer or a number, or a number into a string, and all that is implicit and explicit type conversions we have. That we still need to cover that. Then even string methods we need to cover. For example, here you have seen a object, math object, and the date object has its own method, that is get date, get month, and so and so. Math object, we have seen the method as floor, seal, round, so and so. The same way, we also have a string as the object. Though string is a data type itself, but there are certain methods which are there with the string, which will be very helpful for us in utilizing the pattern matching and comparing different inputs what user has. So anyway, in the next class, we will proceed further with these other things of JavaScript. That is, we will go more into more depth of JavaScript. So this is what we have for today. If you have any questions, we can take it. Now it's the time to take up the questions. Is there any way I can Google Calendar with that? Is there any questions? How to display month? How to display month as October? Now here, that's. Is my screen still visible? Yeah, I'm presenting. No problem. No problem. Now here we have used. Now here we have used get month. Where is it? No. Yeah, get month. No, that is what October is. This is get month. 9th is the date. Oh, sorry, the value return. So what we can do is, I'll just write it here itself. We can use a switch statement, or we can have a if statement. If what is that? This one, today month. If today month equal to 10, that is 9. It's from 0 to 9. So if this is the case, then what we will do is we will use month as October. We will display month as October. The same way we can use, you can have a different logic. If month is 10, it will be November. Then same way, December. You can fill it up, doesn't matter. I'm using if condition here, but you can use if else, else if part, or we can also make it much easier to have a switch statement. Save this, refresh it, you may find the okay, this is also 10. I'll make it 11. Okay, let me save this. We can have the data as October. So this way, once we have the individual data, we will be able to use it using, just having some programming language, we will be able to use it this way. So is it fine? Okay, anything else? Anybody? Though, remember that I have just used if statements for simplicity's sake, but it's usually the switch condition which is used, or if else statement is used. Sir, can you share the recordings? Arey Baba, every time I'm forgetting this. Definitely, boss. Definitely. Definitely, I'll do that. I'll share it. I'll share it with you. Not you, everyone. I'll share it with everyone. Actually, I have to create a class itself, but Google Class, but I was busy in some other things. Yes, I have not created the Google Classroom. That is what I was talking about. Actually, I was busy in some other things of some lateral entry students have joined, so those emails were created. Then there were a lot of other things I was involved in, a lot of administrative things. So that is why I mean, not able to, but I'll do that classroom part as soon as possible. And not only today's, all the previous recordings also I will upload. Anything else? Hopefully, I mean, uh, I'll do it after the vacation, hopefully. I mean, we are in vacation actually. So before the end of this vacation, I'll complete that Google Classroom. Anything else? Or can we wind up the class? Okay, then, if there are no more questions, let us wind up this class. Thank you, everyone.